Hello and welcome to the video, everyone. In today's video, we're gonna have a look at the newer Fabius Bile miniature in comparison to the older one. There was a few people that weren't really happy with the newer one, just claiming that it looked too similar to the old one. But this will be the first video in a few video series of just going over some of the newer Chaos Space Marine models in comparison to the older ones. So first off, we'll have a quick look at the old original Fabius Bile model. So bringing this into focus when it wants to. There we go. Now that we've got it focused, we can have a look at this model. So starting off with the main focal point of this model, definitely more or less the head in my opinion, but we can see quite a deep set facial structure. I very much love this model, to the point where I didn't even believe that it needed a new model. But as we can see, it's definitely showing its age a little bit now. We can see a few of the details a bit more flatter in those pipes. Definitely stuck on the chest a bit more. The Rod of Torment, loved it, always loved it, that pimp cane aspect. You can see the skin, flesh on the shoulder with a couple of nodes, always a good touch. The very rounded pauldrons on this model. This one, lovely Chaos Star. Going to the Cyclone Needler. Very obviously strange weapon in comparison to any of the others, but plenty of vials attached to the side. Very nice. This little token thing on the bottom was a bit strange in my opinion. On the flesh coat, you can see these very nice screaming faces. These little artisan tools strapped to the side there. Coming around the back, we can see that very lovely shrunken head, large amount of hair. The Trojan, very older style Chaos Space Marine backpack. This fucking brain thing on the inside. Not sure what it was ever meant to be. I assume it's some sort of fleshy component though. Coming around, finish off the main base. Then we'll have a look at this Trojan, shall we? As we go up. These vials on top, pumping old Fabius with some good healing juices and stimulating juices. You see younger, more inexperienced me glued the arms on the wrong way, or more or less in the incorrect places. They should be the other way, but we can see this blade on one arm, quite thick, bit of a chunky boy. Needle on one, plenty of vials all stacked up around that arm. Some what look like springs, I would assume, on the back, or hoses, but I think more or less springs. Nice drilling arm there, and then this sort of, I don't know, axe-shaped sort of cutter. Interesting design, but nonetheless, great for the time. Yes, again, this is in my opinion, I loved this model, and didn't think it really needed a new model at the moment. But as we swap over and have a look at the newer Fabius model, so again, we'll just start up at this head. You can see this one, definitely the softer features. Gives me more of a, I don't know, like a German sort of vibe, mad scientist vibe. The hair very nicely flows down, these pipes, all quite well done. See, there's some nice spacing in between the torso. The way the flesh coat goes down, looks very nice. The Rod of Torment, you can see he's now holding it down a little bit lower, holding it more like an actual cane. If we spin around, you can see his nice little artisan pouch there with all his tools nicely exposed. Bit more on display. Very nice scalpel, some forceps. Coming around more, we can now see the Cyclone Needler. And very nice this time with good balance of those sort of vials sitting on top. We can see his hands got that the pipe work sort of going into the back of it, almost like an IV drip or something. These pauldrons, very nicely done. Good amount of detail. Coming around, we can see the back of the fleshy cape or skin cape. Nicely segmented, plenty of depth in between those skin sections. Coming around, we can now see the shrunken head is a little bit more smaller and pushed up there a bit. More of a sister's style head on this one. Come around, you can see still a nice pauldron covered in that skin as well. Then coming up to have a look at the Trojan, we can still see again those vials filled with healing and stimulating juices. More detailed this time. Arms of the Trojan, definitely looking far better. That thinner look gives it far more of that spider look, which is what Fabius is known by. Coming around, we can see all those actual joining parts, a bit more segmented. Actually look like they would move a little bit more as he moves. Backpack, got that more modern chaos style about it, but still integrates the arms quite nicely. We can see the what was more of an axe sort of shaped heads now. Got that more semicircular design about it, a bit easier for cutting, I reckon. That drill tip, very nicely done. It's a bit thinner, a bit more surgical like, and then as well as that scalpel, far thinner. Looks like it would actually be useful for cutting off limbs and such. That needle as well, extremely nicely done. So now we'll have a bit of a look at them side by side. Let's see if truly my opinion at the start was, he didn't need a new model, but let's see how much more justice the new model does for old Fabius Bile, shall we? We have a look at a side by side comparison. So immediately, far more height within the new model. Gives him this taller Emperor's Children sort of look. We can see the Rod of Torment is easily far nicer with the taper as it drops down to the bottom. The hold, we can see Fabius's gloves are far nicer done with this sort of more tighter, almost fitting look to them. See even the pauldron on the side has more detail. The pauldrons flare up a bit more. The artistry tools, again, just far more clearer, far more nicer. Bit of a pet peeve I do have is the new model doesn't have any sort of screaming flensed faces on the cape. It is a bit of a knock that I have, but nowhere near bad enough to actually justify not getting the model. Easily, you could carve out some of that plastic, put some green stuff in, and sculpt your own faces if you so desired. We see the Cyclone Needler, definitely far more crisp, less jars, makes it look nicer. A bit of chaos trim on it, taking away that stupid little tag off the bottom. Having a look at the Trojan Arms, they're longer, they stand out far nicer, each actual arm. Taking away those sort of silly springs on the back. You can see the brain sort of thing is far larger. that extra piping that goes along the back of his arm just sort of adds a bit of a nicer touch. You see there, the head, yeah, either way, I sort of like the old shrunken head, so it's not too bad. We can see they've given him some trim on those little elbow pads, just in case he falls down when he's rollerblading. But overall, even the head, in the original pictures we've seen, the nose looked a little bit sort of broad the way that they painted him, but honestly, I'm a far more bigger fan of this new head over the old one, and I thought I wasn't originally, but once getting the model and actually painting it, this new thing that they've got sort of going on with Fabius's hair, where it sits and everything, in comparison to the older one, the node, it's just far nicer. There's just no getting around it. If you're a fan of Fabius Bile, you're definitely getting this model and picking it up over this old one. There's no comparison. They're definitely not the same model. They look very similar. One has definitely pays a lot of homage, but it's got so many extra details and so many deeper details that there's no way you would ever hold on to the old one except for, I suppose, memories. Yeah. Lovely model, this new one. Glad I picked it up. Now let's have a look at the little Neophyte that comes with old Fabius Bile in the new box. As a little bonus. It's very nicely done. I've accidentally left a couple of details off him. It looks like he's got a node in that arm that I've forgotten to paint. So he's pulling the gene seed out of I've made it a salamander. It's a very nice little addition. With his little gimp mask on. Good little addition. Even though all he does is provide a reroll, I'm pretty sure. But, oh well. You get what you get. And, yeah, well worth it to get the new Fabius model. So I think we'll end it there, and I hope I've persuaded anyone that maybe thought that they would just stick with getting the old model. Definitely, you're better off getting the new model. It's far better, far nicer model to look at, far crisper. Doesn't have that chunkiness that the old models sort of suffer from. But with that, we'll end this video out. So I hope you enjoyed and have a good one.